cooking up some gammon today. Now we're going to be roasting this gammon, and what we're going to do is get some really nice diamond shapes.
Hello there.
Now, are you sitting comfortably? Good. Then we'll begin.
I call again for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, the return of the sausages, the hostages, and a recommitment to the two-state solution.
I don't know what that means.
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
No, it's not. It's
Gets
gross.
the people going.
It's
No,
disgusting.
that's enough! Why do you...
They're the Free Wales Army, Lana.
Yeah, that's right, David. Good lad.
Leg hurts.
Yes, it will do, Dav. You've been shot.
My name is Jeff.
I am the danger. A guy opens his door and gets shot, and you think that of me? No. I am the one who knocks.
Well, what are you waiting for?
I don't know. Something amazing, I guess.
Me too, kid.
This is a safe place. It's a place where we can feel free sharing our feelings. Think of my office as a nest in a tree of trust and understanding. We can say anything here.
Anything.
I like turtles.
What is it?
supine protoplasmic invertebrate jellies.
Look at him. He runs like a Welshman. Doesn't he? Doesn't he run like a Welshman?
Oh, I forgot. I muted us all up, didn't I? Hello,
You muted us all up, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I muted us all up because Dad, he was saying which one of you guys he likes the most, and we're not allowed to have favourites here, Dan. So
This is true. This is actually true. It's not. It's a lie.
Hey, so if you haven't noticed already, we have an honorary Burke, a third Burke, joining us today. It's the legendary, the one, the only, me. No, I'm joking. How you doing, Emzy? You okay? It's good to see you.
I'm good. Hi, everyone.
Always good to have you here, MC. It's proper right nice.
Always. While we were starting, though, before we even actually started the stream, we had a massive, super generous 5 gifted subs from the legend that is Michael. Thank you so much, man, for the support. We really appreciate it. I'm just going to have a quick look now to see who those new members are. We've got Debbie Bat has got a gifted membership. She's a smelly lefty. Well, assuming I didn't mean to. But Connor Scott. We've got Jasnov. We've got that one. Crafting Bougie Mama. And iMorgan 2012. There we go.
Welcome, you smelly lefties.
All of you are now smelly lefties officially. So, quick warning about the show today. It has been such a hot mess, and I have been running around everywhere. I had to go and help my dad out and do some stuff down there. I had to be here, there, and everywhere. I've been babysitting 4 dogs, and a little bit of breaking news. One of them is pregnant.
Dun.
Loki's pregnant. No, he's not. He's gonna be a dad. He got my sister's dog pregnant.
He did that thing.
Outrageous.
They took their eye off it for a minute. They took their eye off the dog for a single minute, and lo and behold.
Ta-da! So yeah, we're expecting
surprise. But they're at about. Sounds like the whole Hell's Angels group's going past.
If you didn't know, Dad lives under a flyover. Sorry.
Coming to you today from. Sorry, Em, did you say?
Yeah, I was just trying to say, what did we learn? The a mix of a border collie and a husky was called. Can you remember?
Borsky or something.
Yeah,
Sounds like a
Borsky.
good Russian name. Strong, like Russians.
Borskies. We've got some Borskies on the way. Do you know what? I might even have a quick little Google just to show you guys how cute he's going to be. We'll have a little bit of lightness to start the show. Why not? So, Borsky. Oops, let me see if that works. Oh, okay, perfect. Oh my God.
Becca says you need to get your dog spayed. Cheers, but it's slightly just a bit late for that warning, but thank you anyway.
Yeah, and also this was part of the plan. The plan was let her have a few seasons first and then get a spay. She was a little dog and stuff. And so, this is her third season. So she is still young. We spoke to the vets and, our first concern was the female's health and stuff. And, what can we do to sort of avoid, anything if we need to. And the vet did reassure us that she would be healthy and that, there's no reason to think it would be anything. She's had a couple of seasons already. There's no sort of danger zone, if you will. So then we decided to make the decision that we were going to keep them. And look at them. Look at these guys.
Just that comment from Adam Lowe there, who says, wow, that must take a lot of time looking after collies and huskies. Yes, but fortunately the family are quite mad. So, the dogs will be well entertained.
They're entertained. They are entertained. Oh, you're not entertained? Yeah, they're always entertained. They love it. They're doing great, although they are going to be mad. But look at how cute these things are going to be. Can't wait to have one. We'll have an ACOB mascot that,
They are both. They are both. These babies are both highly intelligent and highly vocal. They're going to take they're going to be stars, all of them. They'll be lovely dogs. And dogettes.
It's like bi-eye thing. I don't know what it's called, but I've always loved that in dogs. It's adorable, isn't it?
Bi-eyes adore you. Do, 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 do. Yeah, Becca, there are so many unwanted dogs, but these will all be found at homes. It's dogs hardly pregnant, and I think there's at least 2 homes been found already. Yes. But heterochromia. There you go.
That's the proper name for it, for the bi-eye thing. I don't know where I got bi-eye from. I think I don't know if I've...
Bi-eye, because we're bi-eyed creatures, aren't we? We're like bicyclopses, aren't we? If a cyclops has got one eye, then we must be bicyclops. Bicyclops.
With biclopses. But let's have a look. So there was a little bit of controversy, so I didn't realise, unless you've refreshed it, which some of you may not have done, and you got in at the beginning to get those points, because that's what we do here. If you get in half an hour before the show, the first 3 people will get some points that go on the scoreboard. It's a big deal. It's a huge deal, in fact. But we realised while we were in Discord that different people's, if you've done it at the same time, like, for example, these 3 people here, these lovely people, one of whom is on the panel here, if you do it pretty much at the same time, like loads of you have been, it comes up in a different order for everyone. So we're establishing the rule is it doesn't matter what you see in the chat. It's what we can see here in StreamYard. We're going to go off the StreamYard chat and not the YouTube chat, because we've learned that one can be different for everyone. And then it was refreshed, and then things, it was a bit weird. But in with a whopping 10 points is Specs Bean Farmer. See what I did there? But
here, whopping 10th
MZ
place.
has got 2 points. No, 5 points. 5 points for second place. And Michael has got 2 points. And points for It's Coming Home. I don't know if it is. Before we crack on with the show and we look at some of the stories, let's very quickly just, what do you think? Has anyone seen anything about the World Cup? Have you been watching England or hearing about them? Because Wales didn't qualify, so that's kind of mostly where my interest went out. But England have been doing really well, and it's been a really good, it's nice to have something nice in it in the world.
It's insane how well we're doing it, considering like we haven't done any training at that altitude and stuff like that. It's pretty mad, really.
I just can't work. I'll be honest, I just cannot work up the thingy to. I haven't watched a single game. The first time, I'm not a big fan of football anyway, but I usually will watch a World Cup or a thingy cup final, FA Cup final or whatever, if they still have them. But I just haven't been able to work it up for this. I think it's mainly because Trump's trying to interfere, isn't he? I heard him talking today. I saw a clip of him today.
Well, before we get into the seriousness, because we have got an article for that, haven't we? Posted one in there, and we've got some World Cup related. But we might save that for sort of kick-off time. We'll be talking through what's happening. There's half-time. There's also hydration breaks and things as well. So we'll bring some World Cup related news and articles and things then. I think England are doing absolutely awesome. A couple of people I was talking to, mostly English people, seem to think that it's coming home. So who am I to say that it won't? But honestly, they're doing all right. What's this now? The quarters. They're into the quarterfinals, or they're about to, or this is to get into the quarterfinals. But it's at that stage now, and they've got who is it they were playing again tonight? Go team, go sports.
Someone said in earlier, I'm terrible. The only reason I know anything about it is because I've been listening to Katie.
Yeah, literally.
She's
like a football expert, isn't she?
She absolutely is. Between Katie, the friend in the Discord, and other Michael, they are off. That's where I get most of my football news from. I kind of feel
just a minute.
I kind of feel that it could anything could happen. It's football, and it seems to be at the moment a stonking team from what little clips and bits I've heard about and stuff. Yes, it was Norway. Yeah, fighting. Sorry, doing Haaland. I know his name, Haaland, however you pronounce it properly. I know his name, and I've seen lots of memes of him, and he's actually fucking amazing. He's absolutely amazing. I just haven't watched it for ages, But I'm getting excited. There's a real buzz around it this time around. I don't know if it's just me or anyone else, but I'm genuinely getting excited about ooh, could England even do it? Because even as a Welsh person, I'm happy for the home teams to bring something home. And plus they get to say, what is it they normally say? They go on about that one World Cup stuff. Well, now they can change that chant that they've been singing for the past 60 years.
It'd be nice.
Finally get an updated version. Yeah, it'd be so lovely. But let me. Do you know what? Let's have a quick look at some of the headlines that I've got in store. Sorry, I just need to reopen that tab that I closed because I'm an idiot. And then we'll dive into the headlines. Sorry, I've also got slow tech, and like I said, it's going to be a bit of a looser structure than normal. We're not reading things out as much in terms of stuff that we've pre-prepared. It's been a long, hot, slow day, so we're going to learn some stuff together. We're going to try and understand, because there's been quite a few headlines that I've seen surrounding reform and everything else that it can be quite a lot to break down. So let's get into it. Right, okay. So first one here. Let me hit this. All the best, Lefty Tech. So the first headline that I want to talk about, and I want to get this pretty much out of the way early doors, because I'm always uncomfortable talking about you haven't guessed yet, I'm of course talking about the terrible of possible murder of
I'm not hearing you very well. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no, okay, that's all right. MZ, can you hear me? Or is it my end?
I can now. You were crackling up a minute ago, but you are fine now.
All right then. All right then. I'll bear that in mind, and I'll try and keep it down. I'll try and keep an eye on it. Make sure that stays nice and cool. But it's 28 degrees in here at the moment. My internet box is loving it, but it should get better as the evening goes on a bit. So, the first story is Anne Whitcomb, her death. This is the latest news on that story. It's no,
Okay.
sorry, I've gone on to the Times, haven't I? No, thank you. Yeah, what are your thoughts? What were your immediate thoughts when you first heard it? Because when I first heard it, I was like, oh well, you expect that an elderly person to have passed, and it wasn't. It was a shock, and I've grown up my whole life with Anne Whitcomb in politics. I don't agree with her politics, lots of it, but she's always been a figure that I've known for quite a long time, and to hear that she passed I was like, oh no, that's it's never nice when people die, but to then hear the news afterwards that it was a potential murder just blew my mind. I wasn't expecting that. I don't know about you guys, but oh God, rightfully has been dominating the news. It's everywhere you look at the moment.
See, I can imagine. We spoke about it before, didn't we? I mean, I can imagine she was a feisty old bitch. She was a feisty old lady. Old bitch. Some would describe.
Yeah, please don't. I'll just say, please
politics
don't.
were dreadful. Okay, the politics were dreadful, but she was a feisty lady, and I'm hoping. Well, I'm not hoping anything, but I imagine that she's. I can only imagine that she's fought back against a burglar or something. She's the type of woman that would do that. I mean, she's not scared. It'll take a hell of a lot more than a robber to scare her. But I can only imagine she's been fighting back or something. I can't imagine anyone deliberately wanting to do that to Anne Widdecombe. She was
as it happens. As far as I understand, they are treating it as politically motivated because they don't understand the motivation at the moment. If it was apparent that it was a botched robbery, I think that might have been a detail that would have been released. I don't know, but from what I understand, but I will share. Why? Let's share it here. But
one thing that they did say the other day is people were asking if there could be a political motive for it.
Yeah.
And the police said that they refused to rule it out, which, it's interesting that they refused to rule that out, and then that leads to the other political assassinations that have been in UK over the last few years. We've had Joe Cox, we've had David Amos, and now Anne Widdecombe, and that's in the last 20 years. That's 3 MPs in the last 20 years. That's terrifying. And then when you think how close people got to other politicians in recent months, like the Hannah Spencer incident,
even milkshakes being thrown at Farage. I mean, I'm not trying to compare the level, but
exactly.
Politicians being targeted like that.
And
scary.
I don't agree with anything that Anne Widdecombe stood for. There were some things that I found extremely offensive, some of her political positions, but we're not supposed to be living in a world where people get murdered for a political belief. So if it is that, then the British government have to really step in to look at what's happening in modern society that's causing an increase in this kind of lone wolf incidences.
Yeah, I mean it's fucking dreadful. So yeah, I'm gonna say it.
This is, I think, because we're expressing some feelings about Anne Widdecombe. You did a fantastic job there, Emzy, of saying obviously separating the politics from the human and the circumstances as well. It's so very tragic, so very scary. I wouldn't wish that upon anyone. And I think I asked if I could share this from Accidental Disruptor, and they agreed, and they said, yes, I could play this for you. And I wanted to play this for you because I think it does a lot of. She very, very much encapsulates a lot of what I'm thinking in this particular piece here. And I'll let the Accidental Disruptor do the talking. And while she is, if you can, open up another tab for YouTube and go and subscribe.
The people consuming your content will fall into three categories. One, they just don't care. Two, they agree with you. So they're in your echo chamber and they hate that person too. So they're okay with you writing it because you've written or said whatever it is that they're thinking. And they'll feel better because other people feel the same as them. And they'll feel justified because probably that person has targeted the same group of people that they feel protective over. But there's a third group, a group of people that might have a very different experience of that person. Maybe friends and family of the deceased. People who are already having a hard day. It's like we take no time to process anymore what we're feeling. We just put it out on social media. So then when a few hours later, the story evolves and it transpires that the person that died had been murdered, you're left having to go, I don't care. I'm pleased they were murdered. Or I've taken down that post because it seems a bit distasteful. Now I know how it happened. And the self-righteous argument will be, well, they were nasty to whoever. The people consuming your content will fall into three categories.
So so yes, of course, I think that that perfectly represents how I feel about it as well. It's, you know, there are family, there are people, that, you know, it's, you know, and obviously just in general, you know, you really shouldn't speak ill of the dead, mainly because there are innocent people whose politics you may agree with, who are related to these people. There are children, there are grandchildren, there are, you know, extended family, friends, there are people grieving, and it is sad. Also, there is another opinion that I think does deserve to be highlighted as well, and this is one of Super Tansky's saying that, and this is on the different side of the spectrum, and I agree with, maybe I could say that, you know, my position's somewhere in between the middle of both people here, but it's I'll read out what she's got here. Anne Whittaker's comments on the LBGT community, Me Too movement, and racism within reform were deplorable. I refuse to canonise appalling people after their death. I meant to say, like, applauding, I'm not too sure. Her views have harmed entire groups of people. She had the choice, and that's the legacy she chose. And I am first and foremost an ally to the vulnerable groups that she targeted with her aggressive and hateful views. Like, absolutely, I completely agree with both stances there. So I think the best thing to do is just to talk about the broader context, just as you were saying, MZ, about political violence and how things are getting out of hand. Because when you look at how, like, this particular subject as well as being weaponized by, you know, people already, and I saw one comment that was like, yeah, they said this was before they released the suspect who was 26. They, you know, this person commented on, I can't remember where I saw the post, but it was some far right thing. And they were literally saying, like, well, they said white, but it could have been a white Muslim. And it's like, why is that not, like, you know, a person has, you know, potentially been murdered, and it's really scary, and it's a politician, and, you know, there's a lot of angst in the country at the moment, and now you're throwing murder on top of it. Things are you know, scary right now. It's not anything that we want to be happening or seeing happening, and let alone to then attach that to religions and things. It's, oh God. I don't know, what are your guys' thoughts on the current situation? We've got politicians that are, we don't know the circumstances, but purely speculating. If it is politically motivated, then it's you know, it's already bad, but that just makes it that much worse. It's a real troubling sign.
So there's a part of me that, from knowing the statistics and her gender, that says that statistically it's likely to be somebody that she knows, but because she's such a high-profile figure, had it been somebody that she knows, that would have come out by now. The person that they did arrest, they've since de-arrested or released. I don't know if they've actually de-arrested them. They've released them. So I don't know if they're going to be re-arresting them and investigating them or looking at other people. I'm quite behind on the news, but when it comes to the whole... So back in the day, Anne Widdecombe said things that were a lot more acceptable as time's gone on and she's continued to say those things, they've become a lot less acceptable over years. There were always profoundly disturbing, the things that she said, the people that she targeted. You know, it was never something, it was never she was never in the right time to be saying those things. But they have got much worse over years because society accepted them less. But her very rhetoric is what has driven this new resurgence in the far right. The type of people that the far right target are the same type of people that Anne Widdecombe targeted. And we know that some of the auditors actually interviewed Anne Widdecombe at one stage. They were so enamored with her politics, the hero worshipped her in the same way that the look up to some of these other far right figures with dangerous ideologies. And I think it's even though they're saying they can't rule it out, I don't see how there can't be a political motive when it's such a, maybe not for the actual incident, but there's definitely going to be political motivations behind the way people weaponize this now. Like, people are already saying, "Oh, can't wait to hear what the far left perspective is on this, or the lefty perspective is on this." Well,
I've already heard it described straight away as a political assassination by somebody in the right wing. You know, political assassinations now in the UK. It's like, for fuck's sakes.
Well, I've said that as well, but that's because she's a political figure. So, and that's how it looks at the moment. So why I've said that as well. But I'm more mindful of how the far right are going to, similar to what they did with Charlie Kirk. They completely eradicated any of his foul things that he said as if he'd never said them.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's a Christian, and you know, blah blah blah, and the lefties are disgusting because they think he deserved it. No, we didn't think he deserved it. Absolutely not. Nobody deserves to be murdered. That's not how modern society is meant to work. We're not walking around with bloody clubs beating people over the head that we don't like anymore. You know, it shouldn't be like that now. And the left simply do not agree with violence. So to say that we do is a horrendous blurring of reality.
Oh yeah, it's just, it's like they want it to be. They want it to be so they can accuse the left of being something they're not again.
Well, it fits a lot of the narratives, doesn't it? That's the main thing, because there's, you know, they want people to react in a certain way, because if they do so, and if they can make it look at least like they have done, then, you know, it just absolutely fits their narrative that they are fighting against a rising tide of, you know, extremist behavior, and the right are there to protect everybody. It gives them that, because the persona, the veil that they go when they attend events is that they're there to protect people, isn't it? So, of course, they need an enemy, and any excuse to highlight how dangerous this enemy is that they've created, they'll just jump on it, which includes, you know, taking incidents without any information. Because at the moment, police are refusing to issue a description of the suspect or the CCTV.
That's really strange. That is really strange, to be honest. I mean, they're not helping, are they? Or are they?
It might be. It might be. I mean, this is how it's being recorded.
I'm sure they've got their reasons.
Read on.
It seems really strange that at this stage, after arresting someone and releasing them, that they're now not asking the public to help, because they're not releasing any kind of a description, are they? So they don't want the public's help anymore, it seems. Sorry.
I think they don't want anyone to speculate. They've seen where speculation has gone over. There's been several high-profile incidents in the last, 2 years, maybe, and a couple of them have ended up in riots. And have to assess it, don't they? And so the more divisive a figure is, the more risk associated. So there's no denying that Anne Widdecombe was like Marmite. You either loved her or you hated her. And when it's a figure like that, it's going to spark interest for a start from all sides, and it's going to cause people to come up with these, like the type of stuff that the insightful comments, there's a chance that all auditors are going to go stand outside bloody Anne Widdecombe's house,
Oh, can you imagine?
Absolutely. Like they did with Henry Novak, where they were stood there with the scene that he was murdered at, like young Bob and things, just to get more clicks and views. It's terrible. I just wanted to interject, though, just to help clarify, because this is what I was trying to say before, because the headline is kind of misleading, but that's what headlines are, although they're there to like clickbait. So it's like they refuse to issue description of suspects. That makes it sound like they have a suspect. But when we look suspects, but the word potential is quite important. So now that they've released this person, they made statements. Devon and Cornwall Police said earlier on Saturday, as officers said they were looking for a white man in connection with the killing. Later in the evening, the force had said that it had made the active decision not to release further information. I'm assuming that's based on the reaction of that. So that includes the description of any potential suspects or releasing CCTV footage. So what they do, they're not saying that they have that evidence now and that they know who they're looking for. What they're saying is that when we come across this information, we're not going to be sharing any information up to and including any potential CCTV. It includes any descriptions and things. And I'm assuming it's mostly because, do you know what? It even says it here. So releasing such information prematurely could compromise ongoing inquiries and may prejudice further investigation opportunities, said the Assistant Chief Constable Matt Longman. And he added, we have been working at pace on this investigation. Officers are making progress and we are pursuing a number of lines of inquiry. So they probably don't have much, is what they're saying. And, the reaction of everything is... I can understand why they'd be hesitant in 2026 to release any of these. I can see why they made that decision. To release any of those details would be almost dangerous, frankly.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, innit? The reality is the police it's not like how we see it on TV. They don't have all these fancy gadgets that can find, the evidence within like a couple of hours. It's a long, laborious, painstaking process, and 95% of it is waiting months for results. Like, if they don't find something immediately that links them to a person, like someone dropping ID at the scene or something like that, then or having actual genuine CCTV evidence where they can identify a person or a car or something like that, then investigations like this can take months and years. So, and I think DeWitt is correct. We should probably not speculate. I'm trying not to, but I am definitely speculating. I'm really trying not to, but I am definitely
speculation is where because there's different kinds of speculation. I personally might just, and this is again just speculation. Probably not the healthiest thing to do, but in the for the interest of the conversation, though, I do think that because she's such a known political figure that it automatically screams that to the person with ignorance, without any knowledge about. I've got no details on the case whatsoever, other than the public information everybody has, and the fact that hasn't been ruled out. So it's tough. I think it could be that, but we don't know, and we won't know for a while. But what's really important is that when people see headlines like that, certain people react certain ways, and then we end up with with a lot of drama on our hands. So I want to, while we're looking at this story, just for the sake of it, I want to sort of look at some of the how the different tiers have been reacting to this. So this is a tier 1 establishment figure, the tier 1 establishment figure at the moment, Nigel Farage. Although maybe he's just downgraded himself to mobiliser because he's no longer in a parliamentary setting.
Maybe.
Nope. Maybe. Oh, I did something. Did you change that, Dad? Did you press buttons? Let me put us back on. There we go.
I didn't press out.
I don't know
you
if
wouldn't be able
it's
to change
something
it.
or not, but I suspect me. I don't know.
I suspect you too, but don't worry about it. We've got it here. So I want to see what this was here with Nigel Farage. Let's see what this tier 1 is reacting like.
She was a remarkable individual, redoubtable. I think the word was invented for her. Opponents knew exactly what to expect from her, and at times, I have to say, colleagues did feel the wrath of her tongue. She was the fiercest proponent of free speech I think I've ever met. She believed that we had the freedom and the right to say things that insulted each other. Her career in politics.
I have to stop it. I hate it when they do this. Such typical tier 5 behaviour. Am I right? No. But it's this where they conflate insulting or offensive language with like hate speech, which is kind of what he's doing there. I know that he hasn't said it directly, Well, when we talk about free speech, what we really mean is racism. I've got to put that out there because that's exactly what they mean when they say free speech. People like Nigel Farage and such, it's always our right to offend people by being racist. No, racism isn't offensive, it's hate speech. Hard to use abductive reasoning when we've only got assumptions to go on. You're absolutely correct. I completely agree with you. I completely do.
Politics, of course, spanned decades as a minister and then for many years as a shadow minister. And I spoke to one of her colleagues last night who said during those years in a shadow cabinet, she was the only one who always spoke up for what she believed to be the national interest. Her passion.
Okay, all right, then. I mean, even a broke clock is right twice a day. I agree with Nigel Farage, weirdly. That's something that I will say is quite applicable. That's how you would describe Anne Whittaker. She was doing what she thought was in the nation's interest. Whether or not we agree with it, I personally don't, and I do like Tansky's stand with the marginalised groups that she was attacking. But also, I do take the accidental disruptor stance as well. Of it's politically is one thing, she's still a human being, and I agree with that framing of it. She is still a human. I mean that. I just mean that the framing that she's, that she definitely did what she thought was right.
Was deep within her family. She was immensely proud of the work her father had done with the Royal Navy during the war. But she was so much more than just a politician. After 2010, suddenly Anne Whittaker, the socially conservative Christian politician, suddenly appears on Strictly Come Dancing, on Big Brother, doing theatre tours all around the country, one woman evening shows with Anne Whittaker, writing novels. Quite remarkable what she did. And then suddenly in 2019, as it appeared that the Brexit vote wasn't actually going to be carried out by the government or parliament, I took a phone call one day. Anne Whittaker here, I sort of stood to attention. I mean, you would, announcing that she'd love to run for us in the European elections. Her joining what was a completely brand new party directly contributed to us winning by a country mile 6 weeks later, the removal of Theresa May, Boris Johnson becoming Prime Minister, and Brexit happening. She played a very major role in getting Brexit over the line. Although, having said that, she was pretty unhappy with the Brexit deal. It wasn't the one that she actually wanted. As a colleague, she was phenomenal. Her work rate was unbelievable. She'd turn up anywhere in the country to speak. And of course, unlike modern politicians.
I'm not going to lie, right? So I saw some quotes from this, it might have been this speech or something else, where he was saying that he was also speculating on circumstances and things as well. And I thought that might have been interesting to see how he uses this particular event. But at the moment, I'm not going to lie, I like that he's being, he's just being positive about someone that's lost.
I just like because I can't fucking stand the man.
I hear what you're saying, but don't worry. Which is a shame that you can't stand him, because we are going to be talking about him in a bit. He's got an election coming up, and I believe there's something about a bin.
But
we'll get to that.
Bid him for his success, so that's okay.
Oh, absolutely. So,
Anne didn't need notice. She stood to tell me I was wrong in terms of what I was doing. A specific pattern. I think quite often with these cases, you would see an email from an individual that would come again and again and again and again and again. We can't identify from our data any individual. General abuse, yes, it goes with public life, whether you're in football or politics or music, whatever it is. But we've not been able to identify any individual where we can point the finger and say the police.
And that's an aspect I never thought of, obviously, with them, being closely tied politically and things, that they would have access to stuff like that, obviously with their involvement with reform and things. But vote for the bin and not the trash. That is an amazing expression. We need to be using it. I want to see people using that expression as much as possible, get it as far and as wide as you can. I believe it comes from The Accidental Disruptor. That's where I heard it, I believe. And yeah, vote for the bin and not the trash. Absolutely. So in terms of like the Anne Whitcomb story, I think we've pretty much brought it to a close. There's lots of investigations that need to be done. It's going to be difficult now for the police to, I think the things that we need to focus on is that it's difficult now for the police to share information with the public, because the reaction that some members of the public have, the riots and everything else. And so I do understand why they've done that. And just to clarify for anyone that's watching that might think that the police are withholding information from you intentionally, that will be the case when they get it. They've said very clearly that they won't be sharing any more information, but they haven't said, and this is important, they've said that they'll not share any potential suspects or anything. They don't know anything at the moment, is what they're saying as well. So in anything they do learn, they will, but they're not at the moment withholding a suspect's name randomly straight after releasing the other one, after releasing those details. That same evening, they said we're not going to, look at any more potential suspects in the public sphere who give out information like that, which is a shame because they've kind of ruined the chances of public appeal and things. It kind of sucks. But the other important draw from this that we should be talking about is the fact that it's going to be weaponized, how it's weaponized and how it's used in the media and everywhere else by people. I'm glad to see that Farage hasn't used it to make any attacks yet. It's usually his style. But we could pretty much put that one to bed. The police don't have enough information. We don't know exactly what's going on. And hopefully, I think actually one last point, this is the point I should have made, was of political violence. Because even if it isn't that, I think that it's a good opportunity to tone down even if it isn't related to political violence and that's just an assumption or speculation, I think that any excuse to tone down the political heat at the moment in this country is much welcome.
Yeah, I agree.
So speaking of Farage, Farage is a man under many Farage. Sorry, Mr. and Mr. Bouquet and Bucket, is it?
Yeah. Farage.
So, it's not the only one, but police are investigating a £500,000 reform donations from mother of a fraudster who backed Farage. And that fraudster is, of course, George Cottrell. He's
gorgeous George.
Gorgeous George. Posh George, they call him. This one here.
Posh George, that's it. Gorgeous George. Posh George.
Gorgeous George was the name of the fighter out of Snatch, that Guy Ritchie movie.
Oh, was he a wrestler? No. Oh, okay, then I'll believe it. Whatever.
Absolutely. So George Cottrell, his mother, Fiona, is at the centre of a criminal inquiry over potential evasion of restrictions on donations. Let's have a look a little bit further into this story, because it's actually, as we were looking at this behind the scenes, this is one of the stories that we did manage to just take a little look at. Other people have done a fantastic job of reporting on some stuff. Accidental Disruptor again has done a fantastic video breaking down some of the trouble that Reform are finding themselves in, some of the investigations, and why some of them aren't going the way we want them to go in terms of, for justice. So let me just have a quick look now. You wrote some things down for it. Let's get familiar with this story first, and then we'll jump in with the other bits there. So yeah, police are investigating the donations worth $500,000 made to Reform by the mother of the convicted fraudster and ally of Nigel Farage, George Cottrell, a young man, a billionaire, who tried to commit wire fraud. He had some gangsters come to him. They were trying to hide their money, so he took their money from them. It turns out that they weren't gangsters; they were federal agents. He went to prison on a charge of wire fraud. And was claiming ever since that he had no, I was going to rob those gangsters. I didn't know they were federal agents. I wasn't doing anything illegal. I was just going to
tell it to the judge.
Hell of an excuse, right?
Being a billionaire, how long did he do?
Oh, I don't know if you mentioned it in here. He didn't do that long. He should have been looking at many years, but he did a short amount of time. But he was incarcerated, though. He did face time, but not a lot, not enough.
Not enough. Yeah, fucking billionaires. We have no use for billionaires in this society. I'm absolutely convinced now. They are absolutely no use to society at all. Please continue.
No, absolutely. I
it's a whole new subject.
It's a whole other subject, and we can touch up on that as well. But yeah, billionaires and the power that they have as well. If we are going to have billionaires in this world, can we at least insulate our politics from them? Because at the moment, 2 donations of £250,000 each were made by George Cottrell's mum, Fiona Cottrell. And yeah, they were made. The May 2024 donations are under investigation over whether they were intended to conceal a donation made by the impermissible donor? What's impermissible?
Impermissible, yeah.
Yes, what does that mean?
And a donation by an impermissible donor, somebody who was not allowed.
Oh, cannot pass. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, when you say it later, okay, thank you.
I just
yeah, so 2 people.
Sorry, I looked in background. He got 8 months.
8 months. No,
wasn't 8 months. I believe he could have been facing potentially up to like 15 years, I think, for life.
Yeah, it was. So apparently it says that it was facing 21 offences relating to offering money laundering services on the dark web to individuals who ultimately turned out to be undercover federal agents.
Well, he's not the brightest bucket in the bucket, is he?
Yeah, he pled guilty to a single charge of wire fraud as part of his plea deal and was sentenced and released in March 2017.
Wow. Sentenced and released?
Yeah.
Go on, the twat. Yes. When you have money.
Yep.
And this isn't as well. This isn't.
We'd still be paying it back as well, and we'd still be in there.
So the criminal aristocrat, as he was labelled, the reason why it's, this on its own would be a newsworthy story, but what makes this one quite special is the fact that we've just recently learned of the relationship between these 2 individuals directly, in which George was paying for his accommodation, he was paying for his security. Yes, the same security that he claims that other billionaire, Christopher Harborne, gave him £5 million to cover. But it turns out this other billionaire was covering it, Posh George. And what else did he do? It was security and staff as well. He employed staff for Reform, or for Nigel particularly, to work for him under the payroll of this billionaire here. And this billionaire's mother has now been also making, this billionaire who is, as we said, spent 8 months inside for wire fraud. His mother has made 2 donations of £250,000 each to the party.
So I think the problem is not so much the donations; it's the lack of reporting on them, isn't it? The lack that they're not declaring them. Is that? That's what's going
as
on.
well. Yeah, these are undeclared gifts and donations. There are limits and things about who you can receive donations
And
from,
they just
what
don't-
kinds of gifts you can receive. So
They just fucking don't care, do they? These people, they just surround themselves in so much shit. That, we'll deal with that when I'm old. Whatever.
If I'm not mistaken, so the money was given to him in the 12 months that led up to him becoming the MP for Clacton.
He's supposed to declare that, isn't he?
Yeah, because it's within that 12 months
Yeah.
in the lead up, he's supposed to declare it, but he didn't.
As has every MP since fucking 18, fucking whenever, 17, 16, something. I mean, they've all had to do it, haven't they? There's no exceptions to that rule.
But then as well, so he was one of this is, I know it's slightly off topic, but it's still on topic. So he was one of the biggest arseholes when it came to Rayner getting found out for having that second house.
Right, yeah.
He's currently under investigation for having 5 undeclared houses. There's this 5 million scam thing. He was trying to lobby the Bank of England to allow them to do something with cryptocurrency. Someone like there's 4 or 5 open investigations on this guy at the moment, and what he's done is he's stalled by giving up his Clacton seat and re-sitting. He's actually stalled the investigation in the hopes that the public will support him. And then there's going to be no investigation. But he was one of the first to call for an investigation against.
But even he must know that when he, if he should become an MP again, that investigation rolls straight back into being again, doesn't it?
Well, he's hoping that there'll be public backlash. He's trying to get the public.
Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, he's hoping the public will disallow that.
Yeah.
Before it's a hell of a gamble, but I really hope it trips him up. But I can't see him doing any time in prison because I think he's going to skip the country as soon as it gets a bit tasty for him.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to get to that stage with the stuff he's been doing. I think he's done enough to either go to prison or skip the country. And I can't see him doing time in prison, personally.
I can't see it. I can't see him even attempting to do it, to be honest. I mean, I know they have put people linked to politics in prison before, but it's few and far between. The vast majority get off with it, don't they?
Well, I mean, this is such an open, deserving case. I would. Yeah, but I can't stand the fucking man. You know how I feel about him.
It's the open hypocrisy that I can't stand more than anything else. It's not just that he's done it; it's that he was one of the biggest people shouting for Angela Rayner's resignation. While he was complaining about her having 1 extra house, while he knowingly had 5 houses.
Yeah.
It's like he knew he was like, oh,
it's unbelievable, isn't it? Look at her. Look at her. Look what she's doing. Look at that over there. Don't look at me. And I'll just slide another big fucking deal under your noses. Fucking bloke. Man of the people, eh? Fucking man of the people.
I just wanted to say as well, to be fair, I wouldn't say hold your breath, obviously, but I mean, Reform are no strangers to prison. Sitting Reform members as well. I mean, if we look at Nathan Gill, he was the head of Reform in Wales, currently serving his, however long he'll serve, he's sentenced to 10 years.
For being a Russian spy?
Well, yeah, for offering favourable coverage of Russia within the European Parliament, while at a time where they were invading Europe.
For being a spy for Russia, he genuinely was doing that.
Absolutely. Crow Crag, by the way, has dropped 5 gifted members. Thank you so much. That was a while ago, and I didn't notice it at the time, and I'm really sorry. Thank you so much for it. I'm just trying to see. The only reason I noticed is because Belly from G Block came in and said hi, and I noticed him in the chat, and then he's got a lovely thing next to his name, and he was just wondering where it came from, and it came from Crow. Big up. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Good to see you, Belly.
Guys, it's really kind. It's great to see you, Belly. It's good to see your 2 room as well. It's good to see you in there. We've got a few really cool people in there that are, decent content creators and things. Yeah, I think that Farage is absolutely up to his eyeballs in. And when you mentioned the crypto meeting and the Bank of England stuff, the lobbying, I thought because it's not a story that I'm too familiar with either, even though it is obviously mainstream news. There's so much, Farage is just throwing so much shit. There's so many things are being revealed right now that it's difficult to keep up. And I wasn't really aware of this. So the governor of the Bank of England has broken his silence about the pressure Nigel Farage put on it to drop a cryptocurrency policy that could be costly for Reform UK's billionaire backer, which is Thailand-based Christopher Harborne, saying that he's able to spot and resist lobbying. So Andrew Bailey's comments Andrew fucking Bailey saying it. It's crazy, isn't it? In a letter seen by The Guardian has come as Farage's decision to not disclose £5 million gift from Christopher Harborne, which has triggered the biggest crisis of his political career. It has triggered the biggest crisis of his political career. And I think that when he handed in his resignation, because for reasons that we speculated on before, that this could be potentially to avoid, to at least pause, because who knows what fingers he's got in what pies. Like, who knows what he could do with enough time to stall an investigation into him. So at the very least, he's bought himself time. And I think that was the intention, to get all of this stuff, because he knows more is going to come out as well as people are probing further into it. And this masquerade about his family, that didn't happen. That wasn't the case. They showed a billionaire turning up at the door, I think, and someone ringing the doorbell. There have been other MPs who have been hounded. And I mean, like, people camping outside of their homes for such a long time. And he wants to play the political martyr. I am the most attacked of anyone. It's like straight out of the Trump playbook, and it's so paper thin and see-through. It's ridiculous. I think we're right to say that he's probably just trying to buy himself some time, but trying to frame it as a people versus the establishment. What an absolute joke. What an absolute joke.
Come around. He's not going to convince the people now, I don't think. I don't think he's going to convince enough people. I mean, he'd have to convince people in the, centrists and that he's a straight-up man and cares more for the people of Clacton than he does his own safety, obviously.
Well,
what am I saying?
In theory, all he has to do is convince the same voting group of people in Clacton that voted for him the first time. All he has to do is get that again, and he has done it before. So there's, I would say that his odds were, probably pretty good at doing that. But I won't go to the Telegraph for this, but it's not going to be that simple, because enter in face.
Enter.
Sorry, this might be the
in face. Because I mean, let's remember he's from another planet. Ben Face. He's come a long way to do this. He's serious.
He is. He has, and I love it. I love everything about it. Bin Face is like currently my idol. I'm gonna get this tattooed on the inside of my eyelids so that I remember this forever. So all the other, Farage has stomped his feet, and he's made a big deal out of nothing, and we think that he's probably trying to distract you from the very serious and very real issues that billionaires are owning and running, or influencing at the very least, the decisions and policies that that Nigel Farage is trying to create an influence within British culture. It's so crazy. I can't believe it. But sorry, I'm looking at some of these comments about about Bin Face. If you're watching, jump on, absolutely. But I'm sorry, guys, I lost my train of thought there just for a second. But oh my god, so he wanted it to be that. And other politicians have looked at this and they've realised exactly what it is. It's just Nigel Farage trying to distract you in one place, stamp his feet, throw his toys out of the pram, and and try and hide away from the real issues. But but Labour, everybody else, and the Greens. Oh, sorry.
It's anti-establishment what he's doing. What he's doing is he's trying to say, look, what the different commissions that are trying to hold me account say don't really matter. What the people say matters. So, and I like how the other politicians are saying, no, we're not even going to bother running. Because if Binface and, say, Greens and a Labour MP were running against him, Binface would have no choice. But Farage has done nothing for Clacton in, I think it's just over 2 years. He's been the MP there. He's done absolutely nothing. I think he's visited it once.
Yeah.
And if the people of Clacton have anything about them, they will vote for Binface because, like, it sends a clear message. It's the most clear message that they could send, the most anti-establishment message that they could send, and it disrupts Nigel Farage's attempt at anti-establishment when he is the establishment.
Yeah. Has somebody now not said they will stand?
Yeah, so Hannah Spencer, she waited through a whole thing. They didn't even come to her. People were arguing around her about some of this Farage nonsense, and she just sat there really quiet. And then when it finally opened up to her response, she just said, I won't be running. There'll be no Green candidate running in Clacton. We've fully withdrawn. We support Binface, basically.
Good for her. So,
what do you think his chances are?
I think he's got a good chance.
Yeah, I think it's fair. His chances are at least fair. If you got money, worth a tenner at the bookies. What do you reckon? I mean, I wouldn't encourage gambling at all because I don't do it.
The people of Clacton have literally got nothing from Farage. Nothing at all. So
trouble.
If they vote for him, and he gets in, then it is literally proof that it is simply ideological. He can shout whatever racist nonsense he wants, and let's not forget that poster that he did that was really a jobs fair. But he made out as if it was people attempting to arrive here on boats. So, yeah, sorry, I've lost my train of thought again. Terrible.
No, don't worry. Yeah, don't worry about it. I just is it because I put this on the screen? Welcome to Politics 2026.
Yeah.
I was just reading.
It made me lose my thread as well, and I was listening, and I lost the thread as soon as these things scrolled up. I mean, yeah, it is the modern face of the face of modern politics. Here we are in the mad
It's
century.
inevitable, isn't
We're
it?
in a post-truth society. Not only that, they're not even real fucking people anymore. It's crazy, isn't it?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, they're not standing as like real serious individuals. They're but like speaking of the real people underneath it, I've seen quite a large effort from certain individuals, because what we do here at A Couple of Bits, usually, as most people know, we observe, among other things, like we're doing our headlines, and I'm going to get the football up in a minute because that's just starting now. And reactions. We've got all this other cool stuff going on, but among other things, we follow lots of far-right figures, networks, and individuals across the spectrum of far-right individuals, from the establishment figures all the way down to, we've broke it down to tiers, all the way down to the street-level activists, tier 5s, the orders, and things like that. And I've got to tell you, some people are really not liking Binface. I would have thought that this would have been the sort of harmless, universally accepted candidate to a degree, not even accepted candidate, but that wasn't targeted per se. But people are
not liking him then.
His identity. I've seen a few far right figures that are actively seeking his identity, so that they can sort of quote unquote expose him per se. I've seen, it's upsetting.
David Harvey.
I'm struggling to think off the top of my head, but I think Rachel Reeves actually she posted something quite funny. Which is unusual for Rachel Reeves. Let me just, that whole "if you want to argue with the bin" comment. Let me find what it was.
If you want to spend the summer arguing with a bin, go ahead.
I won't stop.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But,
this is like the funniest that Rachel Reeves has ever been.
Watching him photobomb. Oh, go on.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. It messed up then. But oh god, dag nabbit. So Rachel Reeves confirms the Clacton by-election will go ahead. It is a farce and a desperate distraction. Exactly. But if he wants to spend this summer arguing with a bin, I won't stop him.
So that's accepting his fucking resignation, wasn't it, or whoever?
Yeah, and allowing him to trigger that by-election. Which is effectively pausing. What do you think? Like, should there be room for government in this? Like in this thing here, should we make the Nigel Farage clause? I heard an MP discussing the idea that perhaps there should be legislation, even that would prevent, because even if this isn't the case, it's certainly possible for a person to be able to just pause all of these investigations and things that into their illegal, frankly, schemes and things that definitely violate parliamentary procedures. They could just stop it.
Instead of stopping it, maybe they should hand it on to the police then. If he's not becoming an MP, and they should just wrap it up and tie it up in one of those ribbons that they do, and hand it to Plod and say, "See what you make of this."
Do you
go on?
Yeah. I was just going to say then, so do you think that there is place for government then to create legislation that would prevent this from happening? Like, because it sounds like, I don't want to call for more legislation of things, but like, I really think that Farage is that bad. I think that this incident is a lot bigger than, than just a fight between Binface and whatever. That's the distraction. The real thing is that he's hiding from investigations potentially. And that's a huge. What do you think, Emily? Do you think it's that there's a place for government now? There's a role for legislative makers to stop this from happening again, or this type of incident?
I'm sorry, I was so distracted. My cat jumped up on the lap and was being a bit of a twat, so I was really distracted.
Don't worry, it's cool. Do you think there's a role for lawmakers, perhaps, or maybe there should be some adjustments to the legalities surrounding investigations of somebody that stepped down from being a member of parliament? Like, should they continue to happen? Should we change this process, because it seems to be easy to take advantage of? Like, if you just step down, launch a by-election, you bought yourself plenty of time to muddy the waters, to hide whatever if it's possible.
Well, it's something that they probably never foresaw would happen, because it is so transparent. Most right-minded people can see exactly why he's doing it. It's an avoidance strategy. And if someone tries to avoid accountability, it usually means that they're more guilty. So, like, most people can see through it. The problem is it's that word that DeWitt likes, isn't it? The lumpen proletariat, whatever it is.
Proletariat, the lumpen proletariat.
The useful idiots, the people that they don't care, because it's all about ideology. They don't care about what's actually genuinely right and wrong. They just care about their ideology and voting in the person that they think is most likely going to do the things that they agree with. It's weird. I think usually when something like this happens, because it's something that they didn't foresee, it usually ends up being a gap that they have to plug later.
Yeah, it is. I think you're absolutely right, and they'll might even have to make a Farage law to plug whatever gaps he's opened up to fucking do what he does. He's just a wrong un, and he's been let in. And do the public, they were right those 7 times in a row when they refused to elect him as an MP before he finally got it done. Those 7 times they were right, weren't they?
Yeah. Well, he's done no constituents. He's got 4 or 5 active investigations going.
Yeah.
The people that are close to him, his deputy, Tice, he's getting investigated for. I'm not sure of the exact figure, but it's two payments that come to like 180k. So, like, it's something to do with the way that they set up their party, because it's not set up in the way that normal parties are set up, is it?
No.
No, it's a limited company, isn't it? Of which he owns majority share, I believe.
Well, I think it was a limited company, and then it had to change recently, and whatever it changed to is still under like certain rules, but it's still less controlled than the other parties. So I don't know, but either way, it's an avoidance strategy. He's found a loophole that he's exploiting, that no one ever envisaged would be exploited, and I'm sure it's going to lead to some kind of change, or at least it should do.
Yeah,
it should do. It should do. There are, I believe I did hear. I'm just trying to find out who it was. If anyone in the chat can help me out, just trying to find, because there was an MP, I believe, I saw that was talking about potentially, like, as we were discussing, like a Farage law, because it should lead to change. Because even let's be incredibly generous, and he just wants to let the people of Clacton decide whether or not, I don't know, something about Sky News, some bullshit. But yeah, the laws, like, if he wasn't doing it, it would be, I think it's opened it up to everybody. We didn't know what this was, and we're now like, oh, hang on a minute, this is well easy to take advantage of. You could absolutely, like, just pause that thing, even stop it entirely, depending on the circumstances, just go away. And it might not even continue when you join back. When you look at the wording of it, it says that investigation can continue if the by-election is won. Like, it wasn't even dependent on it being won. It was just after they've won, we may investigate afterwards. The wording on it, so I don't know. I think that he may try and sleaze his way out of it, but we need an end to politics of sleaze. We need to stop this this culture that we've got, where we've got politicians that are actively and openly cutting corners everywhere they can, trying to make things worse so that they can advance their own positions. It should be like, there should be so much more scrutiny.
I was thinking about this the other day. I was thinking, is there like a politician that you can go back to and be like, right, that was the last, like, of the proper politicians? Because we've had a weird quarter of a century, really, when you think about it, in politics. We've had that period where all the politicians kept resigning. From Theresa May, it started. Was it Cameron that started it?
Cameron after the referendum.
Yeah, and then Theresa May and fucking Liz Truss, and it's not all. I'm not saying it's all Tories, because obviously a lot of the recent Labour prime ministers as well have been absolutely horrendous, but politics has definitely switched. We care that as voters, a large majority of us care less about the policies and more about the personality. It feels like a very Americanized system that we're in at the moment. I don't know. And I'm trying to think back to a time when, who was the last real, genuine politician in the traditional sense of politicians?
Oh my word!
I think we're back to the 90s, aren't we? I think Blair was probably a proper politician, but like, he was quite damaging, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah.
I don't know if because he was an establishment figure for sure, and I don't know if he played the game like that and wasn't also like sleazy like that. He sold the tale. He repeated the lies of George Bush with Iraq and everything else, and was quite a lot of going against the law. When was the last time we had politicians and like prime ministers and things that actually followed the law? Isn't it really? Like, or just would play in the actual politics game as it was laid out. It's really bad, isn't it? When you think about it, isn't that many that you can name.
No,
if any, really. It seems to be a game of sleaze, a game of slime.
None in last 25 years, and then it kind of makes it a little bit more understandable why some of the younger people might be so disenfranchised with politics. They're not disenfranchised, they're actually very engaged. Young people are incredibly engaged in politics. Yeah. I've had wonderful conversations with young people about politics, and the level of knowledge, it far surpasses my level of knowledge at that age. Like, I was completely disengaged from politics, but they engage, they understand it, they just don't want to actually participate in it, and that's the difference. And it's not surprising if their entire lifetime they've just had this this theatre of politics rather than actual politics. They're just acting as politics, if that makes sense. It's just
and as DeWitt adds, like politicians changed when we put cameras in Parliament, and I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. I think it's had a big unintended consequences. Had big unintended consequences of letting in people who just want to play to the cameras.
It's become a game show, hasn't it? It was
And ridicule,
and
ridicule Parliament while they're at it, and rip Parliament to bits for their own good.
It's become a joke, isn't it? It's weird, but what I find as well about Parliament, because of the power of the camera in Parliament as well, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't have that, I do believe in full transparency, but because of the power of media and the way things can be edited, and the way things that mean different things to different people. I've heard Rupert Lowe stand up and give statistics in, quote numbers and figures that are deeply steeped in his own prejudice of certain minority groups. And I've seen sitting MPs immediately and without missing a beat correctly rebuttal those claims and completely disprove his narrative, and to the point where other, like, majority of the members of the House were laughing. They were laughing at these ludicrous claims that were clearly lies. But it doesn't matter really what they think and say, because there's a camera there and there's an audience that they could pander to. And so I think that's a very powerful point about the camera there, and the inadvertent effect. I mean, what do we do? Do we take the camera out? But we do need transparency. We want to see what they're able to do. But through that medium,
it's weird. I really wanted to. I wanted the cameras in there. I wanted to see what was going on, but I had no idea it would end like this, or turn into this kind of a circus.
Is it that the cameras are in there, or is it that when you go onto, like, I don't know, the PMQ's channel, the parliamentary channel that does the PMQs, where the comments are turned off, so like, we can see it, but we still can't, like, comment on it. We should be able to comment on it. I know that there'd be a high number. So what happens is there's a high number of people out there that just don't comment on things, and they only comment when they've got a complaint or a critique. Anger is a very strong motivator. So you're always going to get a high volume of negative comments on any political video like that. But are we not right to be angry when we consider the level of public infrastructure that's being decimated and defunded, and the amount of structural violence that we're all facing, the increase in bigotry across society? Like, maybe it's that they let us see what was going on, but still was like, yeah, but your comments don't matter, and they kept it switched off. So we have to go then into echo chambers, like left-wing echo chambers or right-wing echo chambers, to be able to actually comment on the politics that we're seeing. We're not doing it in a shared environment. We're having to go into very, very specific echo chambers where even when it's not an extreme echo chamber, let's say it's just a bit more of a slightly right-wing echo chamber, or a slightly left-wing echo chamber, they've still got their own fundamental ideologies of why society is hurting them. So, like, I don't know, I think if we could actually comment on the Parliament channel, and they moderated it properly. They actually hired people to moderate it properly, so anything that was definitely abusive was gone, but people were allowed to have a range of opinions, then it might make it better. And I also think that we could actually have a system where more politics was done online, where politicians were actually held to account.
Yeah. Then with the days, you know, when politicians were held to account. I don't see that. Although I'm trying to remember when they've been, and who has been famously held to account.
I think. I mean, recently there have been politicians that have been held to account, like we mentioned before about Nathan Gill, Reform MP that was sent to 10 years in jail for his involvement with Russia, accepting money and something else.
It's drifted away from the microphone. Oh, go on, you're back.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, sorry, I don't know what happened there. But yeah, it's really interesting times. I'm hoping that we see, hoping that we see legal action, swift action. I want to see dignity restored to our. I mean, obviously, long live Binface, but I want to see dignity restored back to the democratic process. I want to see credibility. I want it to be legitimate, and I want it to be enforced. I want it to be structured that actually works for the people. At the moment, this isn't the way things are in 2026.
There's too much. There's also too much foreign interest going on. Too much foreign interference in our.
Yeah, Thailand-based billionaire Christopher Harborn. No, he's based in Thailand. There's also what do you call it? Elon Musk, like possibly one of the biggest ones. He's doing Restore at the moment. Which, by the way, speaking of, that takes us nicely on to the next bit. There's a couple of stories that I want to do before we focus on what's happening with the football as well. That's something that I will be doing with these guys, don't worry. So sorry, give me 1 second. Can you hear my dog sleeping? Can you hear him? I'm so sorry. He's just fully taken all my attention. He's just lying on the floor, not on the floor, on the bed that's on the ground. He's like twitching away and like moving around, making some noises about to mute up.
Do you mind?
Gathered through where I was, but no, that was it. One of the things that I definitely wanted to talk about was the podcast that we saw Rupert Lowe and Joe Rogan on. And I also wanted to talk about Citizen Vigilante. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to just briefly talk about Citizen Vigilante.
I still can't get up to that title.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? It's just, yeah.
Where are we looking? Where? What?
It is, no, Citizen Vigilante. That was the name of the movie.
It's like saying sidewalk, like so that people know where they're meant to walk. Like a vigilante is generally a citizen.
Yeah.
Like if they had any authority, there wouldn't be a vigilante. So the fact that they've got to tell you that it's a citizen, it just shows you what kind of melted brain lunatics that film is aimed at. Oh dear.
Yeah.
Good evening, Rev. It's. I'll tell you what, right? I watched that film. I went in there, I'm not going to lie, at all. I went in there completely expecting it to be as terrible as I'd heard that it was in terms of the content of it, in terms of why it caused so much controversy. The big issue was obviously like things like Islamophobia and lots of stuff. But I'd had all these strong opinions, and I'd only seen scenes of it, and I've only seen other people's takes on it, and I hadn't actually watched it myself. So I tried to go in there with an open mind, but as much as I can, you know what I mean? I already know, I've seen some scenes, I know what to expect. I knew it was going to be fucking dog shit, but I want to get this criticism out of the way with first, and then we can deal with the actual stuff, the politics behind it, the people that it appeals to, the people that it emboldens, and everything else. The actual movie itself. But the first criticism is actually it's quite an aesthetic one. It was, and I feel a bit silly even talking about this thing because of all of the things I could highlight. But the actual movie itself is dog shit, and I don't mean like the forget the script, forget what's going on. The filming, the acting, the plot, everything about this movie is just terrible. Like that was the like I love movies in general, and I don't mind sitting through a movie that I don't like. And even sometimes I could appreciate when a movie's been well done. But they had a £2 million budget, and I'm starting to think that movie could potentially be like a money laundering scam or something, because there's not £2 million worth of movie there. They're lying to you. It's so bad, so bad. I think it's like AI blood. Right, so we watched it in the Discord. I don't think you were there for that.
No,
unfortunately.
I didn't see it.
But Citizen Vigilante is a movie that's been released by. Right, do you know what? Let me get it up now so I can so people can have a look. For people that don't know, and why would you know? It's dog shit. It's so bad. So here we go. Let me share this time. Share screen. That one there. So, Citizen Vigilante. It's got Arnie Hammer in it, who is a disgraced actor who left Hollywood, was never cast again, cancelled, if you will, because of sexual assault allegations and other such horrible behaviour. This movie is. I don't really even want to play the trailer or nothing. It's set in. Right, from what I remember, I took a bunch of notes.
Sorry, it's got a 6% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. I swear it's getting a Razzie.
Should we have a look?
This is too funny.
Should we have a look at some of these reviews?
I wouldn't mind. I mean, Crowcrag, I'm not bothered, mate. We'll catch up with it soon. Eventually, we'll catch up with the game, but until then, if you want to keep dropping the little nibs of anything exciting, please do.
Yes, please. If you don't mind, I'll be honest with you. I was struggling to get a link ready for it, and I was like trying to find it on different places. I'll try on ITV in a second. I know it'll be on one of the prop ones. I thought I could find it on the fly. But I just got busy doing this. I'm really sorry. But yeah, if you don't mind, Crowcrag, if you can update us on what's happening in there, that'd be really fantastic of you. But I want to just give me a couple of minutes. I think I can pretty much explain sort of like how the movie went down. So it starts off in Europe, which is literally it. That's all it was. There's a screen that comes up, and it just says Europe. For the American in the audience, it's just meant to be this vague place that could be anywhere in any European city. That's what this city is supposed to represent. It'd be anywhere place. Oh, give me a second.
Dogs just killed the postman. I'm guessing the dogs just killed the postman. Well, the night postman. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. So it's 0-0 at 25 minutes. England's possession soaked up for the time being. England possession soaked up for the time being. Dun, dun, dun. So yeah.
Oh God, I'm so sorry. My heart dropped. I heard loads of barking, and it sounded like two dogs were very close to each other, and possible fight. I rushed outside, and Loki's just sat there at the gate being like, "Have you heard this?" I'm like, "Oh, thank goodness," because he just happened to be chilling out there where it's cool. You know what I mean?
As long as he's not getting another dog pregnant, he's flipping thing.
No, she's already pregnant. We're having pups. But I'm so sorry, guys. So back to where I was. So it opens up with a gruesome murder or an attack. Like the first, it's quite quick with that. And you see an individual with a sort of vaguely European accent type thing, sort of vaguely. It's really weird with a child. They walk out of the store, this woman and a child, and then it's quite horrible. She gets stabbed in the neck, and this AI blood comes like spurting out. It's quite a hard scene. It's rough. It's quite in your face, and then you don't really hear much more about that particular incident, really. The movie then kind of moves on and it introduces you to the main character, who's like this sort of Joker style guy that's like, or like more like Batman actually, but with a sort of with Joker's politics, or what I'd imagine that to be. He's being like celebrated by everybody. You know, you see this sort of montage scene of all these different people talking about how great he is, and it's also being covered by another montage scene of him giving all these different speeches, almost V for Vendetta style, except it's not really making any sense. He's talking about, like, you know, they're coming to our homes, and it's an American accent that's quite clearly in Europe, and you then come to learn that the character that Arnie is playing is actually a landlord, not just a landlord, but a slumlord from America who is in Europe, in this vague city of Europe. He's in Europe on a holiday visa illegally because he's abusing the visa system, and he's actually conducting business and things there. He owns a building that's being used as a brothel that's covered in mold. And there's a real awkward scene where there's like, it makes so many crazy choices because essentially the movie frames itself around an invasion, scary invasion of these different people with other, you know, sort of vague accents that are sort of Middle Eastern-y, and it quite explicitly brings the Quran into it as well. It's very obviously Islamophobic, but the main character, this hero, is himself like a slumlord who's taking advantage of people, who's constantly, you know, trying to evict people. He's using prostitutes in an illegal brothel setting, in a brothel that he owns, and there's a clear air. The actress does a very good job of showing the sort of fear, what's he going to do next type of vibe, as he stops there in the course to look at the mold on the ceiling and then berate this person about the mold. And then when she says, "Okay, do you want to stop?" he's like, "No, we will carry on." It's so wild. It's so wild. I don't even like the plot itself. Is just essentially a man trying to fight back against this wave of people who come in and abuse the system illegally. They have a terrible, you know, these other people that aren't born here. They're a threat to women. They do horrible illegal activities. But he is all of those things. None of it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, you see, Violet's got it right. V for Vendetta were better. And that rhymed. Who?
So I was going to say, Violet is the only other person I know to have a dog named Derek. I had a greyhound called Derek. I'm just saying. Just rambling.
No, don't worry about it.
Violet, I've become a new member as well. Thank you so much.
Nice.
Appreciate you. Thank you. Very much indeed.
So,
so that film's rubbish.
About it. Yeah, it's rubbish. It's a rubbish movie as well, and the messaging was scary though. I want to say this though before we move on to the Joe Rogan, Rupert Lowe stuff, but the movie's messaging did genuinely scare me, because when you see some of the scenes on the internet, especially where he does a home invasion on some suspects that were let off by, you know, like this weak system that favors these people and painted those out to be the victim. It's kind of like, you know, it's playing on all of these far right tropes, and I feel like it was made to embolden that particular group of people, or at least to capitalize on it. And I was really worried about the messaging and how it would resonate with these people. And yes, it's had quite a terrible, you know, it has been something that people have used to justify their own beliefs. Well, look at this, look how amazing this movie is. I love this. I feel great. You can clearly tell they're emboldened. But on the flip side of it, I think that it's not as dangerous as something as the Rupert Lowe and Joe Rogan podcast, because it was so fucking shit. It was just so shit. It was just terrible. It was just a terrible movie, really badly put together. It's very much like The Room.
Yeah, I still haven't seen it. I don't think I'm going to bother. I said last night that I might watch it. But yeah, I think I'm not going to bother now. I think it's just, yeah, no. No.
Yeah.
No.
It's not as worrying as I thought it would be.
Cup of tea.
Speaking of cup of tea, I've just knocked mine over. Bugger.
Yeah.
I'm just going to mute it.
So, no, don't worry. I'm gonna get some of this interview that Joe Rogan did of Rupert Lowe on his show. Before I do, before I get a couple of clips up and stuff. What are your guys' thoughts on this? What's your immediate Rupert Lowe on Joe Rogan? Like, what was your reaction to that?
So I used to like Joe Rogan. I used to watch Joe Rogan very regularly, actually. I went off Joe Rogan when he bought I think it was his third chest freezer for the meat that he was hunting and clearly not eating.
Yeah.
I've got no objections to people hunting and things like that, but if you're going to do it, then you use what you kill. And he clearly couldn't give it away. And the second reason is I started to learn quite a lot about MMA, which I wasn't happy with. I started to be able to correct one of my cousins on actual upcoming fixtures and things like that. So I stopped watching him, and then since stopping watching him, I know his politics they've always been a little bit weird. I always felt like he was saying what he didn't really believe what he was saying. He was just saying what he needed to say to boost his algorithmic relevance. But I know he went and visited. So I remember he went and visited some governor in Texas, and he was really pro proper cannabis legalization and proper legislation that prevented it from staying a federal crime when it had been legalized. And he went to see this Texan governor, and then he just stopped advocating for cannabis stuff. And that's when I started to notice that his politics was really sliding over to right, and he was getting he moved to Texas as well to avoid paying tax or paying the higher rate of tax. So while still pretending to be a lefty and having no problem with paying high tax. It's not that he was avoiding it that's the issue. It's the fact that he was saying that he was, he had no problem with that richer people should pay more tax, and then he was doing the opposite. That's what I had a problem with. It was the hypocrisy. But with Rupert Lowe, they've just both validated each other, haven't they? Joe Rogan is now definitely a supporter of the right if he's going to be interviewed by someone like Rupert Lowe or interview someone like Rupert Lowe, and vice versa.
Do you think Polanski should ask him for asked to go on it then to put the other side? Do you think it would be a good call?
I think he should, and I think he should do it privately, and then when Joe Rogan says no, because he will highly likely say no, then make it public that he has to go on to be balanced and was denied.
Yeah. Actually, I mean, if he asked him publicly, he'd win either way, wouldn't he? If he got on the show, he'd win by being able to address this right wing, the right wing of America. I'm just a little bit stuck for words, but he'd be able to address them directly, and if refused, like you say, that would be good for him too, wouldn't it? So I don't think.
I really don't like the way the internet is allowing this closing of the. I mean, Britain and America have always been very close, politically, but there is a real line blurring right now where there's certain extreme right organisations from America getting heavily involved in British politics and vice versa, and we've got all these dodgy individuals like frickin' Mandelson being the ambassador, and it's I really it's the internet that's doing it. It does feel like it's the internet that's bringing all these.
Sorry, I don't mean to shout across you, Joe. Did you do the story on the? Oh God, I'm losing it.
Yes, the Proud Boys going to.
Yeah, you read my mind. Thank you for pulling me out the poo there. I was in there without me wellies then. Yeah,
Nah, don't worry about it. No, it's fine.
Yeah,
I did. Yeah, we discussed that. Their involvement on it.
What Emsy's saying about American and British politics, because well, the Proud Boys have turned up in Northern Ireland, haven't they? And was it Northern Ireland or Ireland? I'm not sure. I think it was Northern Ireland.
It was Northern Ireland. It was UK.
Yeah,
and that thing. So yeah, I mean that's a big fucking.
It's a worry.
Warning exclamation mark right there, isn't it? Ties in perfectly with what you were saying, and.
But what you saw in America up until a couple of years ago was that there was a specific hatred, mainly towards Mexican individuals, and so under Bush there was an increase in Islamophobia for sure, but the main focus has always been the Mexican people with the type of asylum rhetoric that you get from right-wing politicians and people. But what you're getting now is you're getting, and the auditors in America never did what the British auditors were doing. They never engaged in this kind of rhetoric. They were still doing the police stations and stuff. But just recently you're seeing the American auditors start to actually mimic the British auditors. It's a full circle because British auditors were initially mimicking the American auditors.
Yeah.
Now you're seeing the American auditors being incredibly antagonistic, and targeting the exact same groups, and then you're seeing British people like canonizing figures like Donald Trump and. It's such a unpatriotic thing to do, to say, oh, we need to get Donald Trump over here into number 10, he'll take care of the country.
Oh, it's absolutely it's absolutely wrong.
Yeah, that's not patriotic at all. You're advocating for a foreign person, a foreign politician to come and take over. Like, what are you actually
think about what you're saying, you fucking idiots? Yeah.
Because it's not necessarily, it's not new though, is it, per se? Like, what we're doing is we're touching on the idea of the international nationalists, as we've been sort of talking about. We got that from Kevin. We took discussing this similar sort of thing. It's the rise of the international nationalist, isn't it?
Yes, the international nationalists.
Yeah, they align themselves with other nationalist groups who would otherwise persecute their people in a different setting, and it's a really troubling relationship that we're seeing. But the internet is helping create this, the rise of the international nationalist. Like nothing we've ever seen before. Like if we look at the tier system that we developed, with the tier 1 through to tier 5, and you could apply that to America. I think that like if we take those two sort of Venn diagrams, because we've been creating that living resource where we're connecting all of the different people from all the different tiers, all of showing their connections and highlighting it and displaying that it isn't as chaotic as it appears. I think that we could do something similar in terms of the relationship between British and American, or the equivalent, with the Romanian and stuff. Like the far right are now, it's always been the same beast, the same messaging. Only at the moment, thanks to the digital age, they're able to connect with each other and present a sort of united front in a lot of areas, like in Romania and stuff. We saw members of our own far right, members, auditors, tier 5 were going out there. We've seen tier 2 out there and things, supporting the events that were unfolding there. It's supporting the far right. It happens a lot more than we want to admit, and it's happening more and more frequently. Like it is something that I think we're going to have to learn how to tackle and identify quite soon. And I'm glad to see there has been some reporting on it, like the one we played from NPR, that podcast about the Proud Boys going to Northern Ireland. But they are getting involved, and they do want some sort of policy change, and they think that their abilities to be able to enact that in a world that is more globalist than it is isolationist, then they're going to have to be globalist themselves, and reach out to the international nationalists. It's a weird concept, isn't it?
if we look at your tier structure for a second, and we look at like the top tier, how much of a role do we think that Nigel Farage played in this kind of boundary blurring between UK and American politics when he was getting photoed alongside Donald Trump just around the insurrection time? How much of a part do we think he's played in that, in like bridging that divide? Because I know the people on the internet was already starting to canonize and lord over Donald Trump and Elon Musk and things like that prior to Nigel Farage. In fact, it was part of the reason why he started engaging with Donald Trump cynically, I believe, is because he realised it would get him some relevancy from the UK right wing who were already supporting him. But it seemed to amplify after Farage did that and started going over there. So it might be something worth looking at in terms of your tier list.
Structure, yeah, absolutely. I think that there is definitely an international tier list that should apply, because that structure itself. So for anyone that doesn't know, so the structure is just to identify the key players essentially within what looks like this mess of the far right with all these different individual actors. It looks as though they're not connected. However, they very much are. It's an ecosystem. The far right ecosystem, it has a structure to it. It's identifiable, and I believe that the tier system that we've established gives it that identity. And you can look at it, you can break it down, you can understand it more. It becomes easier to digest, and then you can learn how to identify some of these figures, networks, and individuals that you see, out, and understand what their role is and what they do. When you see them at protests, when you see them on the television, and everything else, people that that have that proximity towards fascism and things. So if we start at the very top of the tier list of the far right of the UK, you've got figures like Nigel Farage. That's your, they are your establishment tier, the people who, when they talk about immigration and things, it's reported on by the mainstream media and outlets and things, because they have to be taken seriously, because they are in Parliament. It's in the parliamentary setting. Whatever points they have is automatically sort of lended some credibility and legitimacy for the sheer fact that it's been spoken within those halls. They get to frame the conversation around immigration and things, even if it's not, for their own benefit, even if nobody's necessarily agreeing with them per se, and they're the only voice inside that chamber that shouts that particularly, but they're shouting it nonetheless. And for better or worse, people do acknowledge it. And so they do set the framing around that. And then you've got your tier two, who take advantage of this framing. They take advantage of the news stories that are being put out there by people like Farage and Rupert Lowe, as we're seeing here. They use that as fuel to generate an audience at events, to mobilize people like Tommy Robertson, Danny Tom, or whatever. They'll look at public events that are happening, they'll combine it with the rhetoric that's being normalized by the likes of the establishment here, and they will take all of the anger that's generated, and they're not looking for votes for it, they're looking for memberships and donations and bodies of protests. So they're trying to advance their agenda that way. And it works fantastically. So they rely on tier one to create the environment, the political environment where the mainstream's constantly talking about it. People are primed. They take advantage of that, and they mobilize people inwards to events. Then at tier three are the people who can, again, only exist because the previous two tiers, they depend upon them to create the environment and to create the physical environment, the protest, because people like UKIP, your fringe bigot groups, that's what this tier is. Those guys will use these events to network and to make new members. For people who think that Nigel Farage is absolutely spot on when he talks about this, and Tommy Robinson's UTK event is great, but they're not quite hardline for me. I want to join a party that really says what I'm thinking. That's what people like Nick Tenconi come into it. They get the sort of the other bigots and things that are otherwise thinking the way that Tommy does things isn't quite hardline enough. And similar to that, underneath that tier, who only exist because again the tiers previous to them, and again thanks to the tiers below them, is cyclical as well. In that tier, you've got your extremist cells, your neo-Nazi groups, your out-and-out fascists, people like Ryan Ferguson, etc. They're not looking for electoral viability as the previous tier are, although they have much of the same sort of agenda and policies in mind. They instead are an option for people who think that that's not hardline enough, people who want a level of activism that's in your face. They don't mind doing the Nazi salutes and things. That's your tier 4 people. And then at tier 5, making money out of everybody in the said above lists and making connections and networking between them is your street level activists. So these are your people like your auditors, your far right vloggers and things who exist solely to take the message that's being passed through the tiers, to amplify it, to record them, to create social media channels and things that they can spread misinformation on so they can cash in on. Their financial income directly depends on, all of them do. And that's the tier system sort of explained. I know that was a long tangent, but I thought it was worth talking about in depth, just in case anyone hasn't really been watching. And it does apply. You're absolutely right. It does apply to the American far right. It applies to all far rights, pretty much. Any sort of scene that's in the modern political sphere that we understand. But also, it can apply to the international nationalists, and that is something that I will be working on at some point when I finalise the master document. There will be lots of elements like that in there, but. The international nationalist is a real thing, and here we see a friend of Elon Musk, receiver of funders, and somebody who receives his funds, together talking about some terrible, terrible things without any sort of pushback. I just want to keep this on track quickly so we can get over the Joe Rogan stuff. But the Rupert Lowe, I wanted to play this segment now because this is the one that made the headlines. Although there are other things that I would like to discuss, but this is the one where. That made most of the headlines. This is Rupert Lowe sparking outrage with the Dunblane lie on Sprawling Joe Rogan podcast.
Has he commented on that since, though? Because I think he did it purposely, the one about one murder, this bit about claiming there was only one murder. I suspect he did that purposely because everybody knows Dunblane was a bloody massacre with lots of people dying. Was it 16 or something? We all know, how can he be the only person in Britain to get that wrong? I think that was deliberate. I think he's quite calculated about that. But there you go. Of course, it's just my opinion. Did you say you're going to have a look and see if you'd have further commented further?
I'm not seeing any response that he's done just yet. I'm just having a bit more of a deeper look. I think I'm just having a look at the Telegraph. There's a headline here that I'm reading, but essentially that he's doubling down.
Is he?
So I think you may be right. Yeah. My internet's been really slow and buggy at the moment. I'm just waiting for things to load. But yes, it looks like he's doubling down on his comments.
Oh, that's ridiculous. And insulting.
Yeah.
Surely not. What an idiot. What an idiot.
That's something that I'm seeing in the Telegraph. But let's have a listen to what he said. Nope.
They don't want the public to have guns. And they are doing their very best to damage the shooters who perfectly legitimately like to go and shoot clay pigeons, who like to go and shoot game, who like to go and hunt. Effectively, they're trying to make that very difficult through the licensing laws for guns. As you probably know, they banned handguns.
The 90s, right?
In the late 90s, because there was a murder up in Dunblane.
One murder.
Sorry, it took a while to close. Which, of course, isn't the truth. That was but one of many things that he said. I won't bore you with the whole thing because it was a 2-hour, just like absolute, like he just gave this, just like almost like a diatribe of Islamophobic, anti-multiculturalist, anti-EU stances to zero pushback. In fact, I felt like it was almost being encouraged by Joe Rogan. At one point, when discussing his ridiculous claims that a quarter of a million people are victims of around the UK, and we'll get into why that's a ridiculous claim in a bit, because the maths isn't nothing. But when he made that claim that these people are victims of specifically Pakistani grooming gangs and such, Joe Rogan was during that conversation saying, "Well, hang on a minute, are you saying that you have like gang? You keep saying gang rapes and things. Like, are you saying that you have not gang? I'm so sorry. And then, by the way, triggering as well. I know. But you keep saying gang, organized. What's it called? I'm really struggling, guys. I'm sorry. What's the term for the grooming gang?
Grooming gangs, of course. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. And Andy was saying grape gangs as well, and he was like, "What does that mean?" And he's like, "Well, there's gangs." And he's like, "If you've got gangs of men that of Pakistanis that just go around doing that, we don't have anything like that in America, type of thing. Like, wow, that happens in the UK." And it's like the framing of this thing is the problem. It makes it sound like there is this specific group of people that are just going around the UK committing horrible offences, and it's just where they're from that's the reason. It's their culture, it's who they are, and it's nothing like that. America is one of the America has a lot of problems too. In fact, I mean, the data I don't know anything on, but I'm going to go ahead and say that they've got a substantial amount of group exploitation crimes out there, just like the UK does. But
yeah.
it sounds like a different thing. It's not part of that. It sounds like this unique because they focus on one type of offender because they fit a certain profile. It honestly blows my mind how and when they frame it to people who aren't from the UK, they're like, "Oh my God, you've just got gangs of these people that are just running around committing these crimes." And it's like, it's not like that. It's not like that at all. And the 250,000 number, I just wanted to talk about that. But what one of the many things that they've done wrong in that calculation, because they do show how they came to that number in Rupert Lowe's report. One of the problems with it is that they've looked at a specific community, like a specific town in an area that has perhaps an above average. I don't know how to describe it, because crime varies everywhere, and this one has a very has like a particular spike of this particular crime. And what they've done is they've taken the density of that town, that reported offence that about this gang that dates back decades, and they've taken those numbers of supposed victims and they've multiplied it across the entire country, as though the entire country is both that densely populated, has those members of the community there. I mean, by their numbers, there would be a significant amount more members of this community than we currently see in the UK. It doesn't actually make sense, when you actually look at the maths. There's a whole bunch of other reasons why that report is spurious at best, but some of the strongest evidence is that they're applying this math sort of loosely, vaguely, unknowingly, just broad strokes right across the country, full well understanding that it doesn't apply like that, and it doesn't work like that, and it doesn't matter because the number's high and that's what they want. I don't know. Is anyone familiar with his report?
I'm not familiar with it, but I do know that he definitely cherry picked data and then he inflated that in the way that you said by falsely attributing those same cherry pick statistics to the whole of the country when it just won't apply across the whole of the country. It's one of the way they use that is one of the things that I find it the most grossly offensive out of anything that they do, because grooming gangs are not a new thing. There's the church operated a grooming gang, for God's sakes, for the longest time.
Yeah.
There's celebrities like P. Diddy, Epstein, people like that have Savile was the other name that I was thinking about, that have had effectively grooming gangs. I think it's disgusting how they focus on certain individuals at the exclusion of other individuals, because all it means is that the majority of victims don't get acknowledged. And every time they do it, every single time they do it, they are making a certain proportion of the victims relive them crimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're weaponizing that trauma,
and
they
that's,
only
that's
select
horrific as well,
individuals.
by the way. It's not a small thing, that, is it, Dems?
No, it's not.
It's fucking horrific. Sorry, what you're saying, son?
Sorry, I've only just realised I've got my mods in the chat.
I'm
you too as well, Dad, if you can. Be vigilant, guys. Be vigilant. But no, I really struggle with a lot of things, like when it comes to this particular crime and the way that people focus on one ethnic group of this crime and then act like it's nothing based in race. They skip over all of, like you're saying about, like, re-traumatizing. What they're doing is they're taking the trauma of individuals, they're weaponizing it so that they can sorry, let me just sort of chat. They're weaponizing it so that, do you know what I mean?
I'm sorry, I need to stop reading side chat. All these people.
So it's funny. Isn't it?
I did the wrong thing. I hit that user instead of timing them out. How do I do it now?
Don't worry about it. It's all good. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we know this, but one of the things I wanted to highlight as well. So in this interview with Rupert Lowe, Joe Rogan, sorry. What Rupert does is he explains again for a second time on a big stage the majority of these grooming gangs were Pakistan, right? And so when he said this to Emily Matelis, is it Matelis? Do you remember when we reviewed that interview where she blatantly said, he said, like, the majority of them are. She said, look, we're going to stop you right there. That isn't true. There was 220 something cases of white British people compared to the 22 that were Pakistani within that certain area. There was police statistics, right? And so he was like, no. Anyways, moving on really quickly. My report is crowdfunded. It's amazing. We raised £600,000, and it was just, he did the same thing to Joe Rogan. Only Joe Rogan just sort of gasped and was like, "Oh wow, that's amazing!" And then no fact checking of these numbers. He didn't ask Jamie once. He didn't go, "Jamie, pull that up." You know what I mean? Like he would normally. Like he's doing a lot less of that.
Just let it go. Just let it go, because it was right wing stuff, and it fits in. It's because it's Joe Rogan's a right wing fucking echo chamber, and it fits in there lovely. That shit that he spouts, the lies he tells about fucking people from other countries coming here and shit, and the rape figures and the fucking all that, the crimes and stuff, that using all that dodgy fucking maths. It's rotten, isn't it?
It is dodgy maths.
They need publicly pulling up. There should be some way of fact checking people live as it happens, shouldn't there? With colour their heads different, like red when they're lying or whatever.
This should be like, it should be people should be now that we live in the age of the internet, you can fact check a lot of the stuff that's coming out in real time as well, but some people unfortunately
I could do it, and still have time to colour their heads.
In fact, while we were talking as well, I just wanted to make sure that I was absolutely correct, and I was just looking at the so I'm looking out, so there's some criticism from, it's not just me that's saying these things. There are, local police forces, even, there's loads of people, political commentators. So what they're doing is, at the moment, it seems that the report is basically manipulating timelines, and they're extrapolating figures to fit, this predetermined narrative, because that's what they do. It's that cognitive dissonance. They have this image in their head, whether it's one that they want to sell or one that they want to believe, and then they cherry pick and search for information, just as we were discussing, and it's exactly the same there. They also, in the report, I was just looking at some of the other questionable things that were in here. So there was loads of exaggerating the geographical scale of these specific gangs. So the report that he's got there, and this is what he was telling Joe as well, it maps out 149 authority districts across the UK and Ireland. And
Yeah,
it labels them as confirmed operational areas for these like specific gangs, like the Rotherham ones and things. That they're all everywhere. Actually, they're all over the place. Mass panic, everybody. There is literally like no verified evidence. So much so that like there have been several like I'm sure the police. Let me have a look now. The Belfast Telegraph. Sorry, I was looking at the. Yeah, sorry. Later. There we go. I'll share this now. I love it when you get pop-ups and you're trying to do stuff. They're only going to get worse, aren't they? So yeah, this comes from the Belfast Telegraph. So a report published by right-wing MP claiming that these gangs operated in Northern Ireland has no evidence. These are local police forces having to come out and say, by the way, you know that MP over in England, he's making shit up. There's no evidence to suggest any of that is
true. Fucking embarrassing apart from anything else, isn't it?
He's got no verified evidence of any description. The police are having to say this guy is a liar. Or at the very least, that's the police way of saying it.
Yeah, and you know, he should come with a warning for it as well, the fucker. It's wrong. It's just fucking wrong. This isn't politics. It's not politicking. It's smearing people with shit and hoping some of it will stick. It's horrible.
It's racism as well. That's another thing as well. It's the capitalized. This is the time that we live in. So because there's, a lot of people, we live in, a capitalist society. So not everybody has access to the same type of education. Not everybody is catered for as well. You get the one size fits all, especially when you're in a certain class. We have a lot of people who unfortunately have been targeted and conditioned for a very long time to believe some of this bullshit that comes out, and they're not. There are obviously, there are grown adults who have access to the internet, but it is much more complex than that.
Oh, do you know what? I'm about to. I think my. Sorry to interrupt. My laptop's about to pack up. That I've been using that half battery, haven't I? I've been saving it. So, but I think it's going to pack up now. So I'm going to drop out now, and I'll come back on the phone. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, do you think?
All right. Oh, let me try not to end the stream. Then I'll. Do you want to boot me out of here? Then I won't have to do anything. And if anything goes wrong, it's your fault.
Wow, mid-sentence.
He would do it to me, right?
Absolutely.
It's yeah.
Why
it's
by accident and then once on purpose?
What's your opinion though on this hyperfixation that Rupert Lowe, he gets to express it on Joe Rogan without any pushback whatsoever, one of the largest platforms, that's hugely viewed. There's this clear omission of like non-Pakistani cases. It seems like it's got very much huge amounts of racial undertones, like overtly even.
My response plays into Society X's lefty bingo. It's stochastic as fuck. Mark that on your bingo card, Society X.
Oh, we're getting a lot of folk in the chat being very folky. But yeah, like, so what are you with this particular with the discussion that you had with Joe Rogan? It was largely based around, several things. They went through a lot of shit. They were talking, about that. Everything sort of as you imagined, though, is what I'm trying to say. They were talking about multiculturalism, the EU, the free speech problem as they see it, the state. Fabian Society came up a lot, which, never ceases to piss me off whenever I hear people talking about it in the wrong way, right-wingers specifically. But immigration, benefits, welfare, COVID a bit as well. There was the gun conversation, the Dunblane stuff. But ultimately, the worst part, I think, is with this. He's now managed to push this quite a large stage without any pushback, and it's very overtly racist as fuck.
It is. It is. It's maximising one demographics crimes while minimising another.
Absolutely. I just reading there someone talking about the 82 towns and cities. I think you got your numbers wrong. He actually listed 149, is it? It says. Oh, he's brought himself back in. There you go. 149, and local police forces, as you're seeing right here, it says it on the screen. That you can see that local police forces are coming out to say that this isn't real. There's no evidence of this whatsoever. None. You know what I mean? Like and they're not the only people that are coming out and saying it. It's yeah. And
also,
the mathematics, everything.
No one's saying that there wasn't crimes perpetrated. No one is saying that. There is victims out there, but the not the number and scale that people portray, and it is the crimes of other demographics are being ignored, which means the victims of other demographics are being ignored.
1, 2, 2, 1. Bollocks.
We can hear you. When you focus on the crimes of one demographic,
I'm so sorry, that's three.
Yeah, people are being absolute numpties in your chat. I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. Yeah, some people can have a timeout and sit and chill. If you can ignore the chat, I'm going to pay much more attention to it right now. So yeah, some folks are in timeout. Don't worry about it. It's so good. But yeah, I think that it's not just they weaponize one group of victims while completely ignoring the other group of victims, and it's because the offender fits a certain profile. And one of the other dangerous things about that is that none of those positions, where you're ignoring one and highlighting another, none of that is actually addressing any of the systemic issues that are facing.
It perpetuating the systemic issues, because one of the findings of the original reports, not this Rupert Lowe one, but the original one, is there was a systemic failure from multiple agencies that ignored victims, the threat victims. It wasn't there was some element of racism involved and a fear to report certain people, but the main problem was that what the victims were seen as just wild children, like they were kind of bringing it upon themselves. They were engaged in drinking and drugs and ignoring the parents or the carers, and things like this. There's a culture of ignoring victims that continues to this day. They still ignore victims to this day, and I've lost my train of thought again. The people, honest to God, these people, they're absolutely fucking brain melts.
It does, doesn't it? It's the trolls do be trolling. I tell you what. Right, well, here's what I'm going to do.
It's so easy to distract me. It's really freaking easy because I've got ADHD, so it's just so easy.
I've timed out some people. I know some. Yeah, it's one of those subjects, isn't it? So where is it now? I'm going to get onto the stream here, and I'm going to nominate a new moderator, and I'm also as well going to have a look at the whole moderating system. We're planning. I'll tell you what. Let's move on from that then. Let's move away from that particular contentious subject, and instead let's talk about the fact that we've behind the scenes, along with Dad and stuff, we're talking about the scoreboard and what we're going to be doing with that, the potential 2.0. We've got plans. There's loads of really cool things that are happening at the moment, and it's not all just on the stream, but the Discord and everything else. We've got some really cool new things. We're going to try and structure things a little bit differently, get a bit more order in, and we'll have different mods and things so that things like this don't happen. No, I don't mean like I'm getting rid of people, and I just mean that you know what I mean. Just so that we're gonna get onto it. It's gonna be fun. We've got the season 2 of a couple of irks essentially. Right, where is? I'm trying to. So sorry, I'm just trying to. Stream. It's stupid.
I'm looking forward to ACOB 2.0. Going to be bigger, going to be better.
So what we're thinking, more segments and stuff, more organised. Like today, I wanted to go live today because we've been putting off doing the review stuff, and I'd had loads of sort of loose notes written down about the movie as I was watching the movie and stuff, and then about the podcast and that. But I'll be honest, the heat wave has absolutely wiped me out, and I got mega busy, so I had to delay the stream. And then, rather than delay it again, Dad's had tech issues, which, by the way, will be fixed properly next time. He's getting a new charger for his new laptop that's arrived, so this won't keep happening. Are you okay, Dad? You're on the stream? If you want to hit the unmute button, then that should be all you need to do, unless you're having other issues or whatever. Nope. And right, I'll tell you what I am going to do. I'm going to put you backstage till you can figure out how to unmute yourself. Once you're unmuted, I'll bring you back up. But yeah, sorry. Yeah, so this one was just a nice, easy, chill one, just to go through a couple of subjects that have come up in like the Discord and things as well, and some of the headlines that people are discussing at the moment. The Ann Whitaker stuff was crazy and that. But the next time we do a stream, we will have a lot more structure, and we're going to start moving towards maybe towards ish the end of the month for looking at shaking things up a little bit, some of the style, some of the way that we move stuff, a bit quicker, a bit easier. Yeah, and Dad's tech issues will hopefully have been solved then, and you may yet get to see him again in a green screen suit. I freaking love that suit. It's going to be well fun.
I can't wait.
We're going to reset the scoreboard, and then there's going to be another scoreboard in the background that tracks how many people keep winning, because we're going to keep resetting it and then giving people opportunities and stuff, while also crowning winners of that particular season or whatever. And it's going to be fun. But on that note, I think my dad's having some tech issues and stuff. The chat was chatting, so I think what we should do is probably wrap up, unless there was anything else that you wanted us to touch up on or something I've forgotten.
No, I didn't want to touch up on it. There's been some really good chatters in tonight. There's been some womps, but there's been some really good chatters as well. It's been fun.
Yeah, there's been a lot of cool people. Yeah. We've got the Revs, we've got, we had G-Block in, we've got Crow Crack as well, by the way. Speaking of really cool chatters, we actually got another 11 gifted subs, gifted members, which is just absolutely fantastic. Yeah, well done to everyone.
For crying out loud, can't hear a freaking word again.
Can you hear us? Yeah.
I think
I don't think you can hear us. He's muted himself. Ah, there you go. Right. Hey, is it working? Can you hear us?
I'm just going to try and move you. Try again. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah. Gotcha. Gotcha. I tell you what, I am such a techie savvy old bloke, mate. You wouldn't. Oh, has everybody gone to bed now, have they?
Which we were just saying.
Yeah.
Have you all gone to bed? Is that what it is?
Yeah, we're all going to bed. No, yeah, we were just wrapping up as it happens, Dad.
Oh dear, 2-0 England, dear me. Love and peace.
Love and peace, everyone.
Love and peace, everybody. Thanks for coming. Thank you so much for being here at the end as well. What?
Yeah, don't press anything, Dad, because I'm about to, and it'll just cancel the
No star, Violet. No star.
Right.